Hi guys and welcome to Sevilla.
So we're absolutely loving our time here. Here's a guide for you to let you know where the best places are to eat, the best things to see and do here in Sevilla, where to stay, how to get here and other travel tips. One of the main attractions here is the Royal Alcázar of Seville. So this was a former Muslim fortress and today it's still currently used as a royal residence when the royals are in town. But one of the main reasons why you probably want to go there is for the beautiful Moorish architecture and the absolutely stunning gardens. These gardens were also known as the Water Gardens of Dawn in Game of Thrones.
But overall an amazing place to visit.
We've just finished walking around the Alcázar in Seville and it's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's quite large. We've spent quite a bit of time here, but everywhere that we've seen throughout it is beautiful.
So it's been absolutely stunning. There's a beautiful interior part to have a look at with all the beautiful tiles and courtyards.
Yeah, there's a park that you can explore. Overall, there's a lot of areas to walk around.
Yeah, and then there's an internal, was it called the gallery? It's like an internal walkway you can walk around to see the overview of the gardens, and it's really worthwhile.
Yeah, there's such a mix of architecture here. It's very interesting and yeah, really beautiful to look at.
Yeah, but we actually purchased our tickets online beforehand. You do still have to wait in line, but we were only literally in line for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it looked quite intimidating when we turned up, but there was just a few groups and all of us had tickets, so it was straight through.
Yeah, so definitely I recommend buying your ticket online before you come, especially if you want to see the royal apartments. We actually were too late to get the royal apartment ticket, which is where the royal family of Spain actually stay in when they come to Sevilla. So that's really interesting, but I think probably even look at about a month out if you want to do that.
Yeah, because we tried to book I think a fortnight in advance, or maybe a bit less than that, and we couldn't get for our dates. So try and give yourself as much time as you can. As soon as you know you're coming here, if it's something you want to do, book it in.
Yeah, but if you just after the general Alcázar tour or ticket, we booked ours only a couple of days in advance and it's completely fine. You can still line up on the day, but you're just going to wait in line a little bit longer.
Yeah, but you know, definitely a great thing to do when you're here. main things to do in Seville is to visit the cathedral. And it's a really beautiful Gothic cathedral. There's also an orange courtyard outside you can wander through, and a tower as well, Giralda Tower, you can head up.
The tower is actually really great because it's all ramps the whole way up, which I sort of prefer. But it has stunning views over Seville once you get up there, so definitely worthwhile, and it's all included in the one ticket. And speaking of tickets, you can actually buy your ticket at the door to the cathedral, or you can also buy it at another smaller church, El Salvador Church, and get a combined ticket, which saves you lining up at the cathedral.
Yeah, it was super easy just to get the ticket and then bring it with you when you head to the cathedral.
So next up we have a really interesting structure, Metropol Parasol, otherwise known as Setas de Sevilla, because of the way that it resembles mushrooms. So basically you can come here, buy a ticket at the gate, which is sort of underneath the structure, and it's only a few euros to go up to the top. You can walk around it and you get some great views over Seville.
And at the moment we're in Plaza Spain.
It's absolutely stunning. There's lots of tourists everywhere, but you can't help but love what you're seeing. It's huge, it's beautiful, there's amazing tiles, water, canals, bridges.
And there's loads of live music, literally every little pocket there's someone on a different instrument, or even some live flamenco. But
and they're really good too, so it's really nice.
Yeah, but all in all we've been really enjoying our afternoon so far.
And afterwards you can also continue walking through Maria Luisa Park, which is right there. So Seville is a great place to see a flamenco show. We actually did this at La Casa del Flamenco. Absolutely amazing. If anything, it was probably just a little bit too short because you just don't want it to end. It's really, I don't know, it sort of has this effect on you, and it's such an amazing experience. So definitely make sure you see flamenco either in Seville or during your time in the south of Spain. You can also just see flamenco kind of on the streets. There's street performers in different areas of Seville, and there's also lots of little small bars that you can see a live flamenco show as well.
There are so many different neighbourhoods that you should definitely check out.
Yeah, some of our favourites were the Triana neighbourhood, which is just across the river from the main central part of Seville. So we're here in the Triana neighbourhood and it's absolutely beautiful, just across the bridge from the main areas of Sevilla.
Yeah, definitely worth wandering over, and we've just really enjoyed walking through the markets. We've loved that, and then ended up at a really great spot for some lunch.
Yeah, that was Blanca Paloma, which was really, really delicious. We've just walked past the Church of Santa Ana and walked through all the different streets. Really, really beautiful. So definitely recommend you do this if you come to Sevilla.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the main sites are actually in El Centro and El Arenal neighbourhood. And not too far from the Alcázar is the Santa Cruz neighbourhood, which is the old Jewish quarter. And this is a really interesting place to walk around all the little streets, although it can get a little bit touristy too. So we're just out exploring the Santa Cruz neighbourhood, which is the old Jewish quarter.
And we just had a little pit stop over at
Bodega Santa Cruz, I think it's called. It's really cute, it's super busy. It was actually open in the normal siesta time where a lot of the other bars are shut, so that was great.
Yep.
But a great place to come before you start exploring the Santa Cruz neighbourhood. And if you're looking to go a little bit further out, you have Macarena neighbourhood, which is super interesting. This is where you'll find the Metropol Parasol, and it also has a little bit more of a local feel.
Just below the mushroom structure is Mercado De La Encarnación. Also in this neighbourhood is the Feria market, as well as the Feria flea market, which is held every Thursday. So in terms of the best food in Seville and where we think the best places to eat are, we've actually got a video just on this, so definitely check that out. But some of our favourites are, if you're after churros, then Bar El Comercio is definitely one of our favourite places, not only in Seville, but all of Spain for churros.
So delicious, and if you're after a lively tapas bar with a great atmosphere, then Bodegueta Romero has to be up there.
Yeah, we had a super amazing time here and loved it, one of our favourites.
And if you're looking for more of a restaurant setting, then you can't go past Contentador. It has really fresh seasonal ingredients, and the flavours of every dish we had were absolutely delicious.
But we've got so many more places that you should definitely check out. We had some amazing food in Seville, some of our favourite of the entire trip. So definitely check out our food video.
So if you're looking at where to stay in Seville, then we have a full list of our favourite hotels on the blog linked below. But in terms of areas, we went through the areas a little bit before, but just to give you a quick rundown, if you stay somewhere central, it'll mean that everywhere that you need to go to is pretty walkable, which means you can avoid public transport and avoid taxis, which is great. So the most central neighbourhoods to stay in is either El Centro, El Arenal, Santa Cruz, and even parts of Macarena is still really central.
Yep.
Triana neighbourhood is also great as well, but it's just across the river, so you might have a little bit further to go, but it's still pretty central too. So the Santa Cruz neighbourhood is a really popular place to stay, but it can be quite touristy as well because it's such a popular place to visit and all the streets are quite tiny. And you may also have to walk a little way with your luggage, considering some of the streets are just walking only. So just keep that in mind, but it's still a great place to stay too. And in terms of getting to your accommodation, there's a chance that you might be able to walk there with your luggage if you don't have too much. But otherwise, there's so many taxis lining up in front of the train station that you won't have a problem at all grabbing a taxi. It's actually pretty affordable too to get taxis in Seville, so you can get a taxi and it'll take you straight to your accommodation.
So in terms of how to get to Seville, if you're coming internationally flying in, you can fly straight into Seville, or surrounding airports are also Madrid, or Malaga.
So if you're already in Spain, then the best way to get to Seville is using their high-speed train network. So it's only 2.5 hours from Madrid to Seville and 2 hours from Malaga to Seville, so it's really easy. The one thing I would say is definitely buy your tickets in advance because they're much cheaper and there's much more availability the earlier that you can buy them.
During your time in Seville, you obviously need to get from A to B. So as long as you stay relatively central, Seville is a very walkable city. There is bus, tram and metro available, but for us, we just walked everywhere and got the occasional taxi. With the taxi, we use an app called Free now, which we thought was really easy to use, and taxis as a whole were quite affordable. Yeah. So if you need to jump in a taxi to or from a train or bus stop, then yeah, definitely do that. It's very easy. But all in all, we loved walking around Seville.
So if you're wondering when is the best time to visit Seville, then we'd probably say that spring and autumn are definitely the best seasons to come. We actually visited in spring, in early April, and the weather was really great. We had some days where we were walking around wearing t-shirts and other days where we were wearing jumpers and it was a little bit cold, but it was still really nice. So one time to probably try and avoid visiting Seville is in summer, or at the very least in July and August, the two hottest months. So basically the temperatures can get really, really hot here. You can go up to 40-degree days, and if you're going to be out and about walking around all day, then this is going to be a little bit of a struggle. So if you can, maybe try and avoid July and August. So another thing to note when you're planning your trip to Seville is that there's quite a few festivals and events which you might either want to come to Seville for or avoid completely. If you do plan to come for an event, some of the popular ones are Semana Santa, which is Holy Week over Easter. They're known for these really big parades. And even though this is an amazing thing to see, and we actually got to see this in Cadiz, it'll also make getting around the city a lot more difficult, seeing the sights a lot more difficult. There might be more closures with restaurants and things like that. And obviously hotels are going to have way less availability. You'll have to book a lot more in advance and prices will be higher. So keep that in mind. And you also may not see the city in its sort of natural state or environment. So you may want to try and make your trip a little bit before the event or a little bit after as well, so that you can see the best of both worlds. So during your time in Seville, you might be wondering what kind of day trips you can do. And honestly, even though there's plenty of places that you can access from Seville due to the high-speed railway or even just by car or by tour from Seville, I would actually highly recommend that most of the places that do get mentioned for day trips from Seville are probably worthy of a few nights by themselves. Yeah. So places like Cordoba, which we have a video link below, our full guide to Cordoba. This is only 45 minutes by train from Seville, but it's definitely worthy of a night or two in itself. So even though it's close, doesn't necessarily always mean that it's best done as a day trip. Yeah. But of course it's an option if this is what you want to do. You also have the beautiful white villages further south, but again, you'll probably need to do this with a car or with a tour group. And it's probably better if you can try and spend a night or two in these as well. So we got to the end of our 5 nights and we could have spent way longer just to continue eating our way through the city. There's so much to see, do and eat here. Yeah. So I would definitely try and stay 5 nights if you can. So that brings us to the end of our Seville travel guide. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you want any further details, we have a full blog post with all the details linked below at AlmostLanding.com. This also has a printable or downloadable map and guide as well.
Thanks so much for watching, and really appreciate a thumbs up if you found this useful or enjoyed this video. And the next video in this South of Spain series is Granada, so definitely subscribe and we will see you in that video. Overall, there's some really beautiful views up here.
Yeah, it's so stunning.